Hi everyone, this is a brief lecture about your syllabus. The syllabus that we go over in this presentation may or may not be your exact syllabus, but I just need you to see certain things. At the top of the page are the 2 different times that we meet. My office hours are listed here. Mondays from 7 to 8 p.m. I'm supposed to be in WebEx, and the link is there. However, sometimes I forget. So if you go to WebEx and I'm not there on Monday night, just text me to remind me where I belong. Remember, Health 315 and all of its prerequisites are required to be in this course. And before the semester starts, I check everybody's background to see what you have or don't have. We have 2 textbooks. This first textbook is the book you used in Health 222 and 315. So you don't have to buy it. We just focus on different aspects of the book. And then University of Kansas, the Community Toolbox. This is a free source with very up-to-date information. So that link will take you to the book or to the book's table of contents. Most of your lectures will be in a YouTube page, and we also have a Facebook page which has not been updated for a while because of COVID, and I'm hoping to put information back up on that page. The first thing I will try to put up are your group's photographs. So the course description, the website, you can read on your own. This is one of the final classes to prepare you to become a health educator. And so there are national standards for health educators. There are 8 areas of responsibility. And listed below in this section are the 8 areas and what we're supposed to do to meet each of those standards. So again, you can read those on your own to see if we're doing what you think we're supposed to be doing. It looks different when we do a face-to-face activity or event and when we do an online event. So some of this looks different, but we still cover all of those points. These are the specific course objectives and course policies. So the health fair, health event is the major aspect of this course, and you must attend the health event. If you miss the health event with an excused reason, we have to establish another event for you to attend and organize and plan and implement and evaluate. Sometimes that's possible, sometimes it's not. If you cannot participate in the health fair event, then you will not pass this class. And there's lots of information there. Attendance, participation, and conduct. The first thing listed is if we have a synchronous online class, your cameras are required to be on. If you think you have special circumstances that you should not turn on your camera, you can email me the day of the lecture. There are 2 reasons why I require cameras to be on. The first is that it improves connection to each other, and it also improves connection to the class. All the research shows that if you feel connected, you do better in the class. So that's why if we have online lectures, your cameras have to be on. During class, you have to have access to some type of device because you're often going to be researching and looking up information that you need for the class. So this class is designed to help you prepare for the professional world, and therefore all of the policies are designed to mirror policies in the work world. So the first one is attendance. You're expected to be at every class. That's minimum expectation. There's no points for participation or showing up because you don't get a bonus when you show up at work. That's the minimum expectation. So you have to be in class. You're allowed to miss 2 classes unexcused for any reason you want before there's any penalties. And that mirrors personal business leave that you have in a work setting. If you have excused absences, which are described in this section, then they don't count towards those 2 that would go towards lowering your grade. If you miss more than 2 classes or meetings, or you're late, you begin to lose points. And that explanation is all here about how you lose points. And that's up to you to read. Just remember, and it mirrors work. If you miss work too many times, you lose pay. And so if you miss class too many times, you lose points. It's just like a work setting. This tells you what I need for an excused absence. Because there's so many forged medical notes, these are the items that you have to have in your medical note for me to accept it for illness. If you don't have that in your medical note, I'm going to send you to Student Affairs, because this is the bare minimum that would be in a normal excuse from work medical note. Legal reasons, it's very similar. I need an official document telling me that you're in court or on jury duty. Deaths, you submit all of that information to Student Affairs, and they then email all of your instructors. And then for religious holidays, I typically don't need anything from you because I can look it up. Now, sometimes there are other reasons that I excuse. So if you think you have an excusable reason that's not on this list, all you have to do is ask. If it's not, I'm going to tell you no, but it doesn't hurt to ask. These are just examples of what would or would not be excused. Participation, it goes over participation. Your conduct, this is a pre-professional course. Next semester, you're going to be in the work world. So you're expected to behave like a professional. Electronic devices, phones need to be on vibrate. I don't want them off because if there's an emergency on campus, I'd like us to be notified. And the more phones open, the better. Electronic devices that you're using for class. If I find that you're using them for personal stuff, I will ask you to leave class after one warning, and that's an unexcused absence. Already talked about attendance, academic integrity. Please be aware of the academic integrity policy. Make sure you understand it. If you breach the academic integrity policy, minimum penalty is a 0 on the assignment, and everyone who breaches gets sent to Student Affairs. It doesn't matter how small the breach. If you breach academic integrity, I send you to Student Affairs. And there's some examples from the policy. I'll make sure this policy works. Sometimes the links change. Communication, just to let you know, I pick up my emails once a day. I guarantee I pick them up once a day, early in the morning, usually before 9 a.m., Monday through Friday. I rarely pick up emails on the weekend. So if you need to contact me about something urgent, you would send me an email about whatever the issue is, and then you would send me a text message asking me to look at my emails. And we'll talk about what emergencies look like a little later. So here it is, urgent matters. Urgent matters are things that come up that are critical to your success. And there's a couple things here. Your family member's been rushed to the hospital, and because of that, you may not be able to get your paper in on time. Your computer crashes and you cannot submit anything. Both of those will require some type of documentation, but those are critical pieces. You need to get in touch with me right away. Examples of things that are not urgent are listed there. Do not text me unless it's an emergency. I don't want to be texting. I don't want my phone going off nonstop. Make sure you've looked for something. You've tried 3 ways to find it, like looked in Blackboard, looked at the syllabus, asked a friend. And if you didn't take notes in class and you don't know the answer to something, that's not an emergency. That is, you didn't do something you needed to do. So always, if it's an emergency, make sure you text me, but make sure it's really an emergency. Monday through Friday, it's rare that you're going to text me because usually my computer is open all day. If you need help, I am 1,000% willing to help you if you have helped yourself. And so if you have an excused absence, I'm more than happy to meet with you and go over something individually. If you were in class and you took notes and you still are lost, I'm happy to go over it with you personally. But if you were in class and did not take notes, did not do the reading, I'm not going to give you an individual session. And I had to put this in place because a couple of years ago, students were not taking notes and I was teaching one-on-one, maybe 10 people a week. And that's just not effective. And that's not what's going to be expected of you at internship. And it tells you what I'm going to need from you to show that, what you've done to try to find the information, show me your notes, and all of that information. Course grading, lateness on assignments is typically 25% off per calendar day. There are reasons that that's reduced, and they're on an individual basis. And it tells you how to handle lateness there. I'm not sure this is in this section, lateness approved. If you are not going to be able to get something in on time, you need to request an extension at least 2 days in advance. And that's right here. I give extensions for almost anything if you ask me 2 days in advance. If you ask for an extension for every major assignment, I will say no. But the reason I do this is we're all adults, you have other things going on in your life, and sometimes you can't get something done on time. You know that typically 2 days before it's due. If you didn't calculate your time right and you can see that it's not going to be done, then that's what you put in your email. I didn't calculate my time right, and this is taking longer than I thought. Or I have 3 assignments due this week and I was hoping to get an extension for yours. And it tells you when you're doing it. You tell me why it's late and what's your idea for when you want to turn it in, and then I'll approve it. That's what you need to send me 2 days in advance. If you send it to me 1 day in advance, I'm almost 100% sure I will say no. Okay. I only approve those latenesses through email, not through text or verbally. This is important because sometimes you'll get a grade that you don't think is fair, and I'm open to you talking about it. But when you do that, you have to email me what's wrong. Again, I need to see it in writing, and I'm going to go back and read your paper. If it's small, like maybe I give you a 3 instead of a 13 because it's a typing error, just email me and I'll change it. If you think you've turned in a paper and there's something in there and I give you a 0 for that section and you think it's there, you need to tell me exactly where it is in an email, and I'll go back and read it. But in most cases, I read your papers twice before they're graded. And if I don't see something after reading it twice, I'm not going to see it reading it a 3rd time. So it's important that you tell me exactly where it is. And there's some examples on how to do that. If you want an A or a B in this class, and this is true of most of your 400 level classes, you must be able to demonstrate application, synthesis, and evaluation skills. Those are upper level critical thinking skills. If you do the critical thinking in your assignments, you have the potential to get an A or a B. If you do not, the highest grade you will get is a C. And what this says here is that a C means you regurgitate facts with no spelling, grammar, or content errors. If you regurgitate facts and there's any errors, then it's less than a C. But if all you want is a C, just state facts. Just restate facts that you learned in the class without any application or critical thinking. Extra credit. I don't give extra credit to individuals. There is some type of pre-internship event that you'll get extra credit for. Sometimes there's 2. And there's a LinkedIn page. And these are in the due date section. This is an example of all of your assignments. These are group assignments. Your group assignments only account for 5% of your grade. So if you're in a group with people who aren't doing the work, at most it's going to affect 5% of your grade. Even though you work a lot in the group the whole semester, it does not have a huge impact on what your grade is. You have individual assignments that are small, and you have individual assignments that are large. And this breaks down what those are. Next, and you can read over these are brief descriptions of the assignments. The directions in Blackboard are usually pages long with examples of what to do and what not to do. So you can read this on your own, and we'll talk about each assignment as we get into Blackboard. This is the grade breakdown, and highlighted in blue here. If your grade drops below an 80% at any point in the semester, you need to be concerned, because it's very easy. If you have a 72, it's very easy to drop to a 65. If you have a 75, it's very easy to drop to a 68. So once you're below an 80%, you need to be concerned. At certain points during the semester, I send out emails that say you need to be concerned. Or sometimes after you get a couple of those you need to be concerned emails, if you can't pass, you will actually get an email that says it's mathematically impossible for you to pass this class. It happens rarely, but it does happen. Okay, so that's that piece of it. Several times during the semester, I do send an email to the internship coordinator telling her how many people and who they are who potentially could not pass 430. That's critical for the internship coordinator to know when they're replacing you into internship sites. Here, student services. And then I just want to talk a little bit about how this is set up. The units in this left-hand column are the dates and the topics. The center column typically addresses group assignments and group tasks. And the right hand are things that are due, usually by individuals. Individuals are typically in blue, groups are typically in green. This blue color in the lessons, that means that's an online asynchronous lesson. And so you can look at that as well. We sometimes will meet on Friday. Based on what I think we're doing for our health event, it will probably only be 2 or 3 times that we meet on Fridays. For example, the first week we meet on Friday. When we will only typically meet once a week as a class, I give you that other class time for your group meetings. You will need to meet at least once a week in your groups in order to plan a successful event. So whether we are in class or we're not in class, you're still expected to be working on the class. And we can ask questions and talk about that a little bit more when you come to class. So that concludes the syllabus. I've gone over the highlights. The syllabus, I think, is 30-some pages long. I've highlighted the most important things that students always ask, but please make sure you review it and you're ready to follow the guidelines that are established in there. If you follow directions and follow the established guidelines, you will do well in the class. And I look forward to seeing you when we meet.